Welcome to toy-polloi. Parental guidance. This video contains scenes of LEGO destruction.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi, and today we're going to be looking at repairing this 2008 Diamond Select Battlestar Galactica Razor Cylon Warrior. Now recently I was contacted by Mike, who runs the YouTube channel Renegade Biker 24. He said that he'd bought one of these off Amazon, and it turned up when he opened it, it was broken, the arm fell off, so he ended up buying another one which again turned up, and when he opened that one again the arm was broken on that one, so he bought a third one, and that was the first one that he got that wasn't broken straight out of the packet. So he got in touch with me to say would I like to have a look at one of the the first broken ones to see what's wrong with it and see if it can be fixed. Now I have a sort of love-hate relationship with modern toys because I do like buying them, but more often than not when I buy them I find there's something wrong with them, or as in the case with this one, it's just broken straight out of the packet. Now this figure was from 2008. I'll turn it over so you can see the back. It says it is from Diamond Select. Yeah, and it was from the the modern series of Battlestar Galactica. And on the front you can see that it's set up to be ages 8+ toy. So I'm going to class this still as a toy, even though, you know, obviously it does look more like a sort of a collectible piece. It's being sold as a toy and sold that someone could play with it, but clearly it is not up to the task. Now, as I say, with modern toys, I do have this sort of love-hate relationship with them. I do like to buy them, but I tend not to these days because of all the sort of issues we have. So really with this, I think the only thing to do is to open it up and see what's wrong with it, and I'll have a sort of go at fixing it. Unlike vintage toys, I don't often fix modern toys because I think they sort of tend to be a little bit over designed, and they use plastics that aren't really sort of up for the job. They're too brittle and tend to break too much. But we'll have a go with this, and I'm sure something can be done and we can get it back on display. So this is what Mike sent me. Now he has already opened this up and just sort of put it back in the packaging. I think he was a little bit disappointed judging by his video about how easily it broke. And we can take it out, and I have actually had a quick look at this off camera just because I wanted to see what was wrong with it, and you can see clearly that it had snapped off at the shoulder joint there. So I thought I'd have a quick look at it and look at the other arm, and when I moved that one snapped off as well. So I've now got a toy that has two broken arms, but it sort of gives me a good idea of what is going on with it. So what we've got here is that should be a little sort of a circular disc with a hole through it, and then this piece is held on. There's a metal pin that goes through the middle of that. You can just about see it on camera. That's pushed through, and that enables the joint to rotate up and down. I think it might twist as well, although I don't really understand why it needs to twist there, but it's supposed to sort of rotate round as well. And what's happened is this bit of plastic is obviously it's quite thin, but it's been made out of not very sort of good quality plastic, which just snaps. I'll actually break a bit of it off just so you can see. So you can see that that is the plastic, that it just snaps, and that's happened on the other side as well. Also a part of the foot has fallen off. You can see here that there's supposed to be a sort of a couple of little pads that sit outside, and those are sitting in the packet as well that have broken off. I guess that's just supposed to sit somewhere like that, so that needs gluing back in place. But these toys are not cheap, you know, these things do cost quite a bit of money. To have them this sort of poor quality, that's what annoys me about modern toys. They're just not built to be played with. You know, this I can say is probably supposed to be a display piece, or, you know, most people don't take it out of the packet, but even still it should stand up to some play value. So let's have a go at repairing these arms. I've now got to repair both of them. As you can see, both have broken. Hopefully nothing else will sort of snap and break as I'm fixing it, but you never know with these toys. So let's get fixing on this. After a bit of pondering and sort of thinking about what I can do, I have worked out some way that I think we can fix this and hopefully keep all of this sort of mobility that was supposed to be there originally. There's no way of actually splitting this toy apart. I think if I tried to split it, I'd end up breaking more bits of it. I think it's made of, as I say, a plastic that is pretty sort of brittle, and yeah, I think I would just end up causing more damage. So what I'm going to do is make something that I can slot back into some new holes. I'm going to have to drill some holes into the side of this and slot some things in, and that piece that I'm going to make is going to be made out of Lego. It's my go-to. Lego is the one toy that is still made out of nice sturdy bits of plastic, and the plastic is very easy to work with. So if we look in my Lego pot, I know I've got some little pieces. Oh, actually there is one on the top that look like this. So there's a little ball joint on a Lego Technic pin. So one end's a pin, one end's a ball joint. And I think what I can do is if I slice the edges off this, I can make something that is a flat surface that I can then drill a hole through. And we can use that to replace this missing piece here. You can see here there's the little sort of metal pin. I should be able to push that out. But if I cut the sort of edges off this, I'll make a flat disc which can then be inserted in there with a hole drilled in it. And then with a bit of careful drilling, I reckon I can drill a hole into there and push in that Lego Technic pin. I have a feeling there may not be space for two of these. If I was just repairing one, it might easily fit in. Two, yeah, I think it's hard to say, but I don't think there's going to be space for two, but I can always chop these down. So first thing to do is we'll shape this. I'm just going to use a pair of plastic nippers and some files and sort of cut the edges off. I think I can make something that goes in there. Actually, I possibly need to check that we can get this pin out first. Let's do that, and then I'll start cutting. So let's see if we can get this pin out. I've just got a little sort of pointed tool here. Oh yeah, that's going to come out really easily. You can see that just pushes straight out. So that is nice and easy to remove. So let's get shaping on this. I'll put the name of this Lego piece at the bottom of the screen if you have one of these toys that needs fixing as well. But as I say, I'm just going to get some plastic nippers and we'll start trimming this down and filing it until we've got something that is a sort of flat disc rather than this ball shape. Literally, as I am filming this, bits of plastic keep falling off. A tiny piece has now fallen off this sort of little piston here. I didn't even touch it, it just sort of fell away. That's what I say, these modern toys are just built out of such terrible plastic. I'm amazed that any of them are going to survive any length of time. This is 12 years old, but it shouldn't be falling apart like this. So yeah, I've now got another tiny piece of plastic to fix. But I do have a piece that is starting to look quite good. So that is the chopped down piece. You can see I've now got a sort of flat surface, and that will fit quite nicely in this top joint, which is the one I am trying to fix. So I've just got to drill a hole through the middle of it. I've done a quick measurement of this pin, and that is a 2mm size pin, so I'm going to drill a 2mm size hole through the middle of it, and that should then fit on there. In the meantime, I'm going to have to try and work out how to glue that piece back on, because it's incredibly tiny and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. But yeah, annoying that more pieces are falling off this as I'm trying to fix it. But yeah, let's get that hole drilled. Now we can try and fit this piece of Lego onto the broken shoulder. So you can see that's what I've made. It's a tiny piece of Lego cut to a flat disc with a hole in the middle. And I'm going to slot that in here. We'll take the little metal pin that was holding the original arm on, push that in. Yeah, and there you go. So we've now got a new arm that sort of fits in place. I think that should hold up quite nicely. Right, I've actually had a second go on this broken piece. I took it fully off by taking out the little sort of metal pin that was holding it in place and used some plastic weld to rebuild the parts. And even as I was doing that, other bits are snapping off it. It really is made out of terrible plastic. And to try and put it back with a little bit less pressure than this metal pin was causing on it, I've taken a piece of Lego. So again, this is a Lego whip antenna. These are 2mm in diameter, so very useful for things like this. So the original little metal pin there was just slightly bigger than 2mm, and it's putting pressure on the plastic. This is exactly 2mm, and I've managed to push that through and actually get this to, it seems to be holding sort of well enough. So I'm just going to use that. I'm going to get my plastic nippers just to cut the end of that off, and then yeah, another fix with some Lego. But it's just terrible sort of quality plastic. None of this stuff I think is meant to be sort of leaving the pack here. I think that's the idea. They package these things up when you're not supposed to remove them. But there you go. So that is 2 little Lego fixes on that broken arm, and that is working quite well. I've also done the same on the other arm, so I've now got 2 arms with the Lego Technic pins in them. Now we need to go and drill some holes in that body. I'm going to take this out to my garage because I need a bigger drill. I'm going to snap these pieces off and then drill some holes that match the diameter of this, which I think is 3.5mm, but I will just double check that before I drill the holes. Okay, well that drilled relatively easy. You can see there's a hole now straight through. You can see my hand through the back of that. The plastic that this is made of, it almost feels like wax. It's so sort of soft and spongy, so it's a very strange sensation drilling into it. But I think what I've done here should work. So now I can try and put these arms back on. There are these little posts here that come on either side, and those sort of pistons go into this part of the arm, so I'm just going to slot that in there, and then I'm going to push my piece of Lego. Another bit's fallen off. I'll go and grab that later, and I'll now push this piece of Lego into the hole that I have drilled, and we'll see if that works. Let's hope that that does actually fit. It should be quite a tight fit. There we go. Oh yeah, there we go, that arm is in. Let me go and get that missing shoulder piece, and then I'll put the other arm on. So we can do the same with the other arm. So again, we just put that sort of piston piece in. This is the one that the piston had snapped on, so hopefully that will hold. It's such a tiny piece of plastic, it may break again. As I say, these aren't particularly built to last, these things. So we'll push that on, we'll line up that, and then there we go. Yeah, right, both his arms are back on it and should be poseable. Yeah, that one's a little bit loose. I might have to put a bit of PTFE tape around it. That side feels a bit firmer, so I'm going to need to do something just to make that arm a little bit tighter. But the arms are on, so I'll tighten these up and I'll glue that missing foot on and then try and pose this figure. And there we go, the Cylon is now back together. I have to say this toy has sort of confirmed my dislike for modern toys. I think everything about it is pretty rubbish. The way it's been designed, the plastic that's used, and the sort of quality controls on it are terrible. The fact something like this, okay, it's 12 years old now, but straight out of the packet, even when you open it after 12 years, a toy shouldn't fall apart. And I have to say, I've sort of looked at some other Diamond Select toys over the years, and they're all much the same. This one just is pretty poorly made, just really badly sort of put together. The quality control is terrible on it. Even just putting the weapon in the hand here, I'd not actually looked at the weapon in the packet, but I just took this out. You can see how bent this weapon is. It's got quite a bend in it, and this is not the fact that it's been stored in the packet like this. This is an actual sort of moulding error on the gun. You can see there's no way you can straighten that. It has been moulded with a bend in it. So yeah, I don't know what's wrong with these sort of toy companies. And some people will say this is not a toy, this is a collectible. You may be right, but on the back of the packet, this is Diamond Select Toys. They say they're a toy company, so I think they should do a better sort of job on these sorts of things. Even still though, I've managed to get it working. The arms now work and are poseable again. They do hold in place quite nicely, and you can actually pose this figure. So I think my fix is probably stronger than what was there originally, because Lego make really good plastic and they make really good toys. So all of their stuff is built to last. I have a feeling some other things will end up snapping on this before my repair sort of falls apart. So I think my repairs will outlast this toy by quite a long time. Now Mike did say that he'd had 2 of these, and I think he sent one of the other broken ones to Retro Blasting to see if they can fix it. So I'm looking forward to seeing the sort of fixes they come up with, just to see if they've done something different to what I did here. But I think that the Lego fix certainly does work well. But I'll be very interested to see what Retro Blasting managed to do repairing this modern toy. So I hope this video has been of interest to you. If it has, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. And thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.